Hello everyone, System Chalk with part 5 of our Apostle Obsonate playthrough. So, as always, if you like these videos, feel free to leave a like. If you don't like them, put a dislike. Let me know one way or the other what you like about them or what I can do better in the comments. And if you'd like to get notifications, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. In the previous episode, the disease kind of came back. We spent a bunch of time improving ourselves, and we're going to be spending some time doing that as well. We're advancing our glimmering. We're painting in hopes of being able to get the, maybe get some more glimmering that we can use as an input to advance our painting career. And right now what I'm desperately trying to do is get as many bodies into the cult as I can, which we're going to be doing through things like peculiar rumors. And this is because the long is going to be, they're only going to be getting stronger. And if I don't get people who are capable of working against it, then I'm going to be in trouble. Now, it is worth considering that there is another path that I can take. I don't necessarily need to have followers to be able to combat the long. All that I need are followers who have... Sorry, I should maybe be a little more careful in what I'm saying. I need people who have these abilities, so I believe summons will also work when it comes to these. And so another path that I might consider would be to become a little bit better at the arcane arts and to summon things that will frustrate the long. I don't necessarily think that's a bad path to take. However, it will require things like knock. It will require more knowledge than what I currently have, and one of the ways that I can obtain that is through followers. So both paths sort of lead me down, lead me to the same sets of actions, which is why I'm pursuing things the way that I am right now. But I'm a little conscious of the fact that right now it feels like I've been spinning my wheels a little bit and building myself up, and part of that is just with a very full awareness of the fact that this thing is only going to be getting stronger over time, and I really need to be thinking about what my game plan is for dealing with the problems it's going to be throwing at me. So one of the things that I can do, of course, is to make myself better, and right now we might potentially be getting a glimmering off of this painting. We may not. But in this case, I'm going to read sentimental literature as a preparation, and one of the reasons for that is I currently don't have any books to be reading, and so right now using the study verb to try and get myself little improvements like glimmering is the best path. I'm not going to hire the shifty person, but I am going to explore with the peculiar rumor once that's done. All right, better not. I must be careful of the company that I keep. So I suspect that at the end of this story, I may find someone who will hear what I have to say. Now, this is going to get me some notoriety, but given that a lot of my, let's say, my income has been derived by my reputation, it's not necessarily so bad that I have some notoriety. It would be nice to have a couple of heart followers to be able to manage that a little bit better. I do have a rather good moth follower in the form of Sylvia to try and get rid of evidence if it comes to that. But, as always, I want to be a little conscious of the risks that I'm taking with certain actions. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So this was a fairly decent return. We got some glimmering, which was what we were hoping for. We still have my vivid imagination. Now, I do have a point of staleness, which means that I'm going to want to employ some passion in the next painting that I do. I still have the notoriety, which is starting to expire. In fact, so I... Tough call. Okay, I think I'm going to use my hardened physique at the work site. I will work with speed and in silence. I don't fear injury. And the game plan for dealing with the staleness is going to be, I'm going to do a painting. I'm going to do a passion-oriented painting, but I'm going to do it after my main job. Right, in pain we are born, in hunger we are embraced, in delight we are devoured. These are the gates of the body, and this is her promise. Not all that is born decays. In remembrance of that promise, we give ourselves to the feast. And Slee's headaches have become crippling, but his theories grow more practical by the day. His poetry's getting better, too. And looks like I'm able to take a peek at what the long is doing, so I'll take that opportunity. In 46 seconds, we're going to have the individual from our dream, but I figure it doesn't hurt to have hurt to have more irons in the fire. So let's speak of esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention, but perhaps that's what I want. Sick room grows close and stale. It's time to get up. All right. So I think it's time that I go back to the Mansis again. I'd like to, if I can, have a nice stack of occult scraps to work with. Now I pass between the scarbark trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. So exotic cravings, what hungers drive us. I didn't read this the last time that we went through, so our delight is reacting. So we've got baseless rumors. If our enemy repeats the story often enough, it might stick. A heart follower, the stronger the better, might be able to defend against this action. So it looks like the Long is coming after our reputation. And we don't have any heart followers, so that's going to hit no matter what. A courier has arrived from our delight with a single vial of their most holy blood. So, again, I need to be a little careful with the delightful blood, because as the game warns, I have received a little vial of our delight's blood via a courier. Our delight's instructions are written herein, a tiny tangle of cellular script. We can taste them, as they will taste us. If we waste it, our delight will wax wroth. So currently I have 358 seconds of the savorous blood. I have 238 seconds of the delightful blood, so I need to figure out what I'm doing with this. Otherwise, there will be consequences. My reputation is no longer entirely my own doing. And there's our sentimental literature. So in terms of studying, there's not a lot that we can do with that. If you ever get lost, you can always just click to see what you can study with, but we already have a pretty clear idea of what we want to do. I'm going to take my 2 glimmering, I'm going to feed my imagination, and then some of the next steps that I'm going to take, I might try and do a trip to Moorlands if I can, but given that I have the delightful blood and I'm doing alright for funds right now, I think I'm going to take another crack at those spices. The others speak little to me, but now they nod as I pass. Here is my pay. So, as indicated, I'm going to try and throw my passion into my painting. Now, this does mean that I'm not going to be able to go to the wood, but that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, because, of course, I can also go through the stag door and the white door if the opportunity, or if circumstances require. So I'm going to paint, again, we don't really have a whole lot of things to paint about. I don't think I can use the delightful blood. But let's just take my fleeting reminiscence again. See if we can get away with that. An unpromising address, but a promising resident. Now, Neville is great for all sorts of reasons. Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He laughs whenever he thinks you have made a joke. But Neville is also a will be a knock follower, and so is somebody who will be able to work with summons, but also is somebody who can serve as a spy if we need. So I said I was going to do something with exploration. That's right, I was going to go to Oriflamme's, and we were going to sell the delightful blood. So we perch on alarming Rietveld chairs in a windowless auction room with vividly burnt orange walls, waiting for the auctioneer to announce what he's offering. The reek of new paint makes the brain spin. Our delight's blood is a payment towards certain special goods for particular connoisseurs. Everything must be just right for the vitulation. So this time I'm going to try and be a little more careful with the auction to make sure that I keep feeding it money, but a crowd of pinched faces, glinting eyes, who will bid? The item at auction is visible on the right. It will be gone forever if the auction is lost. Oh no! Alright, so the acquaintance snatched up my passion. I should have thought about that before I went ahead. So in 1.3 seconds, I'm going to fall into the world of dream. The grounds of sleep. The waters of the wood run cold and deep, but never clear. Rote memory alone will not take me there. I must engage my passion now as I drift into other dreams. Lots of stuff going on. So the weary detectives on the trail, the wrong kind of attention. The city is rife with journalists and detectives and other meddlers. How long will they leave me in peace? So of course the challenge here is that I do have lots of mystique, but this is a fairly fresh notoriety, and so it's very likely that the weary detective is going to successfully find some evidence against me. But I'll do my best to work with what I've been given. We might also get lucky and he botches the investigation. I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. Now, I can't really rely on making any money out of this, but I figure if I'm going to do a painting, I might as well do it right. Again, the hope is that we recover some of that staleness. What dream did we get? So, dreams of doors. Tonight is the dream of the labyrinth of doors. I dreamt of opening doors, red doors, gold doors, doors of glass, doors bound like books, and railway carriage doors and castle gates. Behind one was something I seek. I awoke with the slamming of doors in my ears. So we've got some restlessness. Now that's not the worst thing in the world if you're a painter. So our spy has returned to us. I think I'm going to throw Slee in right away. It might be that I'm out of sync in terms of the long, because it doesn't really feel like I've been able to accomplish that much. I've got the stag door. In my dreams I found the way to the stag door, sometimes called the horn gate or the adept's door. I have answered its riddle, and I am counted among the know. So here I'm going to head to the stag door. In my dreams I know the path to the stag door through the maze of the bounds. Gearby will let me pass, but the path is always a puzzle. I will need reason. So I'm not really using reason right now anyway, so the stag door is the adept's gate. To pass it is to be initiated into the first true mystery of the House of the Sun. The head Gearby weeps to see me enter where it cannot, but it must let me pass. The scarred valves of the door grind open. And there are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. Use this lesson learnt with your imagination skill. Of course, that's going to be tied up for the next few seconds, but we've got time. So, is there anything else I can be doing with my study right now? I do want to keep it open for when we upgrade, so right now I'm going to leave that be. And of course we have another bidder. I do need to keep an eye on this sort of thing. Oh, actually, no, I am going to do health, and the reason for that is I want to paint away the restlessness before... Nope, that was the wrong call, because I could have used the restlessness to bring in Neville. But I've already made the commitment, so... My recent work has attracted a couple of callers. With luck, something will sell. Well, we got Mystique, but I don't think we got any money for that. Oh, but we did get a pair of Glimmerings, so that puts us in a good spot for our next upgrade when it comes. But the important question is, did we get... Yes, we did get rid of the staleness. So I'm going to take the opportunity to make a little bit more out of my reputation. You never know, this might be a living. And what would I like as an inspiration? The restlessness. This should have an impact. I'm a little conscious just because I have the auction going on, so I'm trying to make some money if I can. I've raised my hand. The auctioneer raps out an acknowledgement. Will anyone match me? And Eldridge is our new acquaintance, an elegant man of inelegant habits. So let's have some chats in terms of bringing some people into the fold. So we've got another season of suspicion coming up, so I don't need to worry about that. Neville is a fairly high priority, so we will take the Order of the Bloody Cup. We'll add him in the associate slot, and again, if I had some other lore that I wanted to get rid of, I would be using that here, but at the moment it's just the 12 intensity grail, so this one is ready. I could spend money on better paints. Perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. So I'm really hoping we make money with this, because if not, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. Alright, another bidder. Someone else has matched my bid. Okay, the trembling heat doesn't really help me that much right now, because I don't really have the other tools that I need to be able to do this kind of a summoning. The Painted River has the risk of generating fascination. You know what, I'm going to try it anyway. Oh, erudition of lesson learned, that's helpful. I'm ready to improve. Now, I'm going to still need to somehow generate some... I'm going to need to sort of have the other shoe drop on this. I'm going to need to get erudition from somewhere else, but I can work with this. The painted river runs from a great chamber near the white door, far through the mansus, to its far edge, where it enters a painted delta of far cloud. I voyaged half its length last night with a stern-faced captain beneath a rust-red sail. As the clouds rose before us, the sailors raised a yearning shanty and close-hauled the sails to best use the painted wind. And all the while, the captain and I discoursed of the secrets of the House of the Sun. So, this is a nice to have, but may not be something that turns into a full-fledged improvement. I'm still a little short on the passion. I could probably get by. You know what? Let's risk it. I have enough passion. I can walk the dream road to the wood. If I have the right knowledge, I might be able to find the way beyond it. So I don't have the passion yet, but I will have it by the end of the minute. All right, it's exceptional work. Let's see if I get paid for it. Ooh, that's tough. So I'm awash and glimmering, which is nice. We just made our money back. Okay. So I'm going to put the funds in for the bid. And at this point I need to make some money. They will not forget the savor I've given them. Now, again, in the worst case scenario, I fail the bidding and I'm able to I'm just able to get my nest egg back, but Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He's sensitive to deeper matters. Now, I did say that Neville was a high priority both as a spy as well as a as a spy as well as a summoner. And so in this case, rather than bringing Eldridge in, I'm going to get Neville right away in order to make sure that he's as useful as he can be early on. So my follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. It's not to suggest that Eldridge isn't useful, it's more of a question about what's useful to me right now. Fresh air and exercise. I have neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. Okay, so this vitality was really just something for me to do with the study verb. Clearly, I've got a lot of glimmering. I've got a lot of different things that I can use to improve myself. Given that I would eventually like to try and make painting my main source of income, I will make my imagination fiercer. There is, of course, an interesting implication in this, which is that the only way that I'm able to make a creative career viable is if I have sort of enough worldly resources in order to make the first attempt. It is perhaps not so surprising that that's an idea that's present in an independent video game. I mean, you can sit down and psychoanalyze it. Well, maybe psychoanalyze isn't the right term, but you can sit down and work through all of these little implications all day, really. But it doesn't necessarily make it any more or less true. It's still a fun one, though. Now, unfortunately, we're going to lose the auction just because I'm not going to generate the money in time. So I haven't won the auction. The auction is over. The lot has gone elsewhere. I retain my funds. So what I'm going to have to attempt here is well, let's do that passion before I lose another turn. So, as weird as it sounds, given that it doesn't take me a very long time, I think I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep doing the physical labor for the next little while. Oh, but I do need to figure out what I'm doing with exploration. Let's get the ball rolling on research. So let's take our first visit to Moorlands. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. Alright, and our occult scrapped, so we don't go too much deeper into the wood. But I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and furred things crammed in my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words, and at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. So I've got the few seconds before, for the title card and all of that to come up, so I think we're going to say that is it for this one. Again, if something's working for you, if something's not working for you, I'm still relatively new to doing dedicated YouTube material, so I do value your feedback as long as it's presented in a way that I can process. I am human after all, and never hurts to try and be kind in feedback. But I have been enjoying this playthrough, and I hope you do as well. A couple of considerations maybe that would work out. Is the runtime working for you, especially given that they're in playlists? And then the other consideration is these end title cards. Is it better for me to try and do a little debrief at the end and give it that mental rest, given that it is rather good for recommending the next episode? And as always, I hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next time.